Okay, I'm live again. Um, Hope you guys are able to find this link. And I really, oh good, it's coming through. Ah, so much better. Okay. So sorry about all of that. We should get this drawing going, shouldn't we? Okay. And you can see up at the top of my drawing, I actually sketched in a coffee pot pouring, but the size compared to the cup is really off. And I'm not sure if I like it, so while I'm drawing, I'm going to try and decide if I'm going to leave it there or if I'm just going to have the coffee pouring from off screen. Hi, Sarah. Glad you were able to find it. We had technical difficulties again on the other link, so. Alright, since I had issues with the other video, I'm going to go ahead and give my verse again. It's Psalm 23:5. And it says, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows." And so I'm doing an overflowing cup. And it's overflowing with coffee because coffee's the best. Oh, well, that's awesome. When I get off the live feed, Sarah, I'd love to hear more about that. You know, that would be an interesting conversation question. From that verse, what sort of a cup do you picture? So I was sitting here thinking about it, and I always picture a coffee cup because it's coffee, and coffee's awesome, and I don't know. I've always thought of a coffee cup. But maybe other people picture other things when they hear the verse. Maybe a teacup, or a glass, or a wine goblet, or glass. I guess not everybody drinks out of goblets. Um, yeah. Be an interesting thing to know is what other people picture. And of course, there's gotta be a saucer underneath catching the excess coffee because we don't want to waste it. Okay, so funny story moment. Um, I was cleaning up the other day, and usually I find my cat's toys under the couch or, something like that. And I was a little confused when I cleaned up the other day and moved the couch, and I found maybe two toys. And I cleaned something else today behind my desk, and it hasn't been moved in a really long time. And under it was a treasure trove, an absolute wealth of hair ties. And Athena, my youngest kitty, her favorite toy for some reason is hair bands. I'll um, launch them across the room, kind of like a rubber band, and she just goes tearing out of the room and chases them, and she'll bring them back. And if she misses me, she'll leave one on my bed for me to come back to. And I had, sort of vaguely wondered what she had done with them all. Well, under this shelving unit behind my desk, I found not one, but 75 hairbands. I counted them because I was curious. There's so many of them. So I found her treasure trove and where she's hiding them all. And they're currently getting washed. And once they dry, she can start hiding them away somewhere else. I like I like how you imagine it, Sarah. That's really cool. Yeah, so if you want to see a picture of me, well, not me, but of the discovery of Athena's treasure trove, um, after I close out here today, I will be posting it on Instagram. You can check it out on Instagram and see all of the hair bands there. So, yeah, that's my funny anecdote for the day. Can you imagine if somebody served you a cup of coffee that was this dark? I drink my coffee black. Um, but coffee's never really black. Even if you don't put cream or sugar in it, it's more of a deep brown color. Can you imagine if you actually got coffee that really truly looked black? I wonder if it'd be any good or if it'd just be too much. Probably just be too much or burnt or something. Something tells me it wouldn't be good. So I was thinking back to my story about Athena and her hair bands. It may seem like a funny toy for a cat, but she just absolutely loves them. And she started stealing them from me. And she has all sorts of toys, um, fake mice and balls and things like that. She does love the sparkly balls too. But she started stealing my hair bands, and it was her favorite thing. And to the point where I stopped buying her cat toys and started buying her hair bands as her toys because she loved them so much, which is why I found so many of them. But they'd disappear, and so I'd buy some more. Now I know where to look. Yeah, I think you're probably right, Sarah, that it wouldn't be good coffee if it were this color. Now, what I want to know is if halfway through November is not through November, halfway through October helps if I get my months correct. If that's too early to start thinking and wondering about what I'm going to do next year. Because I'm starting to wonder what I'll do next year. I don't think I want to go off of quotes again. I've done it twice. And but then I don't feel inspired necessarily by the prompt lists that are sent out. So I'm going to start playing with ideas and trying to figure out what in the world I'm going to do with Inktober 2020. With a date like 2020, I feel like it's got to be special. Sounds. Maybe. Might be a little too abstract of an idea. I was kind of thinking that I'd like to go with something more concrete than I have been doing. I don't know, maybe. I'll play with the idea. Okay, let's see. Now I want to differentiate between my steam and the coffee coming down. So let's see. This is going to be my steam coming up. I'm actually going to have the steam and the coffee cross paths, I think. Okay. it's kind of funny what you learn from school, because I learned two things that sound they sound contradictory, but they're actually both things that I learned, and both yeah. So I learned to both slow down and to draw faster. And the idea of slowing down is taking the time with initial parts of a drawing, to take the time to make sure it looks right, and not being too so anxious to get to an awesome looking finish that you skip the parts that give you that awesome looking finish. So that's the slow down part. And then drawing faster. I'm not a very fast artist per se. That said, I have sped up a lot as I've seen my skills improve, and as I practice and put the time into it. I'm definitely a faster artist than I used to be. So yeah, I learned in school both how to speed up and slow down all at the same time. Alright, and since steam is translucent, almost transparent, or can be transparent, I'm going to need to do the coffee falling behind it. While still keeping sort of that steamy look coming up. Yeah, like that. What's a skill you won't get right? Speeding up, slowing down, making coffee show behind steam? I'm sure it was the latter one. Oh, the steam thing, really? Just trying to get steam to actually look like steam, or? It's not an easy thing to do. I'm kind of struggling with it a little bit here. I'm trying to keep it from looking too solid. Yeah. Um, as I'm struggling with it here a little bit, I'm not sure I have good suggestions or ideas on how to actually make it look like steam. Especially working with something like ink, where it's kind of it's a black and white, all or nothing sort of medium. But I think if I were working with pencils, I would hint at it. So it would be slightly darker. It would be, yeah, similar to smoke, I would say. It's a little lighter than smoke, but it's the same idea. So I'd tone it down a little bit, but not much. So it was obvious that there was something there, but maybe not that it was actually has mass. I don't know if that makes sense or not. print at the back of the cup. Yeah, it's not an easy effect to make, is it? It's sort of working though. Thank you. Okay. Coffee. Got to play with my niece and my nephew today. That always makes for a fun day. There's something about watching a 1.5-year-old discovering life, discovering things for the first time. That kind of, I think it gives an increased appreciation for it. Discover it with them and see it in a whole new light. And so my nephew Logan, he was, I took him outside and he was a little distressed by the fact that the tomato plants have withered from the frost that we had the other night. And so he kept pointing at them and looking at me, and eventually he moved on and started digging holes in the ground instead. But it's always fun seeing him reacting to the world around him and experiencing it and learning from it. Ooh, doodling mazes is cool. I want to see your mazes someday, Sarah. That's a lot of coffee pouring out of that cup. Actually, it's making me think that I want to have it pouring out of the saucer too. Just really go crazy with this guy. So I'll do the edge of the saucer here. this pool of coffee to the edge. So not only is my cup overflowing, but my saucer is too. I am so blessed my saucer overflows. There, I've got coffee overflowing from my saucer now. And so this side of the cup doesn't feel lonely. We're gonna have a couple drips coming down. There we go. Okay, and let's see. Time to round it out a little bit. Got kind of a little too much ink there in that spot. But I think that's okay. I'm going to do a little bit of shadow under the lip here. Bring some dimensionality to the handle. Oh, goodness. Okay, so my video has a 7-second delay between me doing things and seeing it happen on the screen. And so I stopped to rewatch the pen go flying out of my hands, and from what you guys can see, it looked to me as if I just sort of threw it onto the paper and then picked it up again. What happened is I bumped the leg of my tripod here, and I bumped it with enough force that it pushed the pen out of my hand and surprised me, hence the exclamation. But yeah, it just looked like I threw it down almost in frustration. It's funny. Yeah, it's starting to come together. Let's see, give my plate a few hatch marks back here. Yeah. Oh yeah, I was gonna do a drip of coffee, kind of doing its own thing over here. Just for the fun of it. Ah, yes, retrieving cats from the outdoors. It's not an easy task, at least in my experience. Sif likes playing Catch Me If You Can. If I leave her out too late, she starts getting a little wilder with the nighttime. And she wants me to pet her and be near her, but then if I try and grab her to bring her inside, she runs away and stops just far enough that I have to chase after her. And it's a game to her. So Athena's usually pretty good at coming home when I tell her to, but yeah, now neither of them are allowed out because because of animals. They bring me all sorts of lovely live creatures like squirrels and mice and birds. All living, of course, because nothing as exciting as watching their mom try and catch a squirrel in the bathroom at midnight. So yeah, they don't get to go outside anymore. I built a little catio idea sort of thing. So they have a little enclosure so they can go outside and not actually be running wild and catching things for me. And so they do get to experience the outdoors a little bit. Because I couldn't just say no altogether. So I was envisioning with coffee pouring off the saucer like that, that maybe the table is just covered in coffee. And so I'm doing a black base here. So much awesome coffee. And I leave the little lines of white sort of as hints of ripples, just to give that idea that it's not just a solid black object. It's got light reflecting off of it and stuff. So this picture looks a little dolly-esque. Looks kind of like my saucer is melting. And I guess I'm okay with that. I'm gonna add a couple more steam swirls, and then we're gonna call it a night. Yeah, I think I'm pretty pleased with that. Do a little more coffee inside the cup itself. Bring up the coffee level a little bit. Et voila. I'm actually a lot more pleased with that than I thought I would be. When I first started, I thought, this one might not be a very awesome drawing, but you know, it's Inktober and I'm doing it. But I kind of like it, so that's fun. Alrighty, thank you so much to everybody who joined me. I will be signing this later. It's just too wet in that corner for me to sign it while on camera. Goodness, I really feel like I should have a catchphrase. You know, everybody on YouTube that I watch has some sort of pithy ending statement or sound or thing that they do. Like Dr. Mike says, stay happy and healthy, but I can't seem to think of one. So if you have any ideas, let me know. And I'm going to say goodnight to you guys, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. That helps me a lot. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Hit the notification bell. It'll let you know when I'm uploading new content. And if you really want to help me continue making videos and awesome art like this, head on over to patreon.com, KRiggsArt, and consider supporting me there. All right, thanks so much, guys, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.